Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And together we make up a polyomino.
What? A shape.
It's PolyomiNovember.
Welcome back. Well, what do we got for them today?
Well, today, as you may know, we do a content month every year.
We do.
We did this the very first time 3 years ago when we did a roll and write month. And then the second year, we did a 2-player only month.
We did, yeah.
And this year we're doing
Polyominos.
in November.
PolyomiNovember.
Exactly. So we thought as a nod to our 2 players and to our roll and writes, we do a video that covers all Polyomino games, or not all.
They are all Polyomino.
They are all Polyomino games
but
that
they're
are also 2-player or roll and writes.
Would you look at that?
We just have to.
Crossover.
So these games are still eligible for our top 10 list. They're still celebrated as Polyomino games. But we're doing a separate video for them instead of the part 1 and part 2 of the reviews that we're going to do.
Yes, yeah. So there's 6 of them. 6 of them.
7.
7 of them that we're going to talk about
Or maybe
today.
more.
Who knows?
Surprise.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing a giveaway. So stick around to learn more about that.
More giveaways.
So many.
All right. What do we got first?
Well, let's kick things off with Mindspace.
That's this one. Ooh. This is a new all-play game. Who's it designed by? It's designed by No Shimamaru. And it's basically you're building your brain. And there's a bunch of different colors that are associated to different categories of different types of thinking. So your love life, your science life.
Your science life.
Your intelligence, or how you feel towards money in your career and things like that. Your social life. But what's going to happen is you'll roll these dice, and then there's polyomino cards that are out in the front, and each card will get assigned the dice based on where they are. I guess not each of them, but you'll assign the dice based on where these cards are and based on what they're rolled. Each of those colors represent a different thing, and you get to choose what color you're going to grab to make that shape in your brain. And there's a bunch of different scoring ways, patterns that work with this, and it's very neat to be able to go your own way, go one way, go a different way, just build your strategy as you go. But it's been a lot of fun. It
was a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of this game. I think what I really like about it most is that it combines a roll and write and a flip and write.
It does. It
because
really does.
you're creating that conveyor belt of cards that slowly shifts, and you're just hoping that the rolls match the colors that you want. Because again, like Tyler said, the colors all score differently.
Yeah.
So you're really having to plan of what are you going to take and how are you going to optimize your brain space so you can create the best mind space.
Exactly. And then another thing too is that all the cards, the game ends when all the cards are out essentially. So you'll never see that shape again. Well, you will, but it's moved 1 now, and it will slowly but surely disappear. Do
you know what's a really unnecessary upgrade someone can make for this game? A little conveyor belt of all the cards. And then you slot them in at the beginning of the game, be like, this is it. And then you turn it and
oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah,
That's funny. Okay, well, that is Mindspace, and the first game of this video.
Now, the next game is a 2-player game. 2-player. And it is Paris, la cité de lumière.
La cité de la lumière.
Or de la lumière.
De la lumière.
Did I say de lumière?
I think you did.
Oops.
De lumière.
I feel like I always get this name wrong. But it is a 2-player only game from De Beer Games. It is designed by Jose Antonio Abascal. And essentially in this game, you're going to be building the streets of Paris.
Yeah.
Now, there's 2 phases in this game. The first phase is where you draft tiles and lay down cobblestone. And then the second phase is where you place those building tiles and you take the postcards actions around the board to score yourself the most points.
Yes.
Now, what's really interesting about this game is that it fits that general theme of it's a beautiful game, but it is
cutthroat,
harsh, because you can really take and screw up your opponent in a significant way. And I feel like I had that shock the very first time we played this game, feel like a couple years ago now, where I'm like, oh, this is so nice. It's so beautiful. The lanterns give like buildings points.
Yeah, you're lighting
everything
up
is
the
lighting
streets.
up. The
Yeah.
city of lights. It's
You're
so
playing
nice.
musicians.
And then Tyler obliterated me. He placed this tile so I could do absolutely
basically.
nothing, basically. And it was horrible. And I'm like,
what are you gonna do about it?
my light is gone. My spark of joys are gone. What is happening? But it is that game that you come in with that environment, and it is gorgeous, but it's also so strategic in that way. Like, you are really trying to be cutthroat.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat in this game for a 30-minute two-player game, and the cool part about it that Ilya just didn't even mention is that the box is the game board.
It is true.
So it's a lot of fun to be able to like build your little city within the confines of this box, and it works out to be quite, like Ilya said, a strategic game that can be a little bit harsh.
And there's also an expansion for it, which is really fun. And Devere always makes really high quality games, and this is not unlike it. This is like all the others.
Yeah.
High quality game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Paris.
Yay. Next up, we've got a roll-in, I guess flip-and write technically, and that is Cartographers. Now this is the collector's edition, so it's got all of the expansions in it.
That's pretty good.
And the maps.
I wasn't looking. I was like,
oh yeah. But it's from Thunderworks Games, and I can't remember. Oh, the game design is John Brager and Jordy Adden, and this is a flip and write where you're going to be basically mapping out your own little city, or I guess like a larger.
You're a cartographer.
You're
going out to the lands and trying to figure out what's happening
and
there.
you're mapping it out for the queen, I think is what the actual theme is. But what's going to happen is you're going to go through 4 different seasons. Each season you're going to flip through a deck of cards until you've hit a certain requirement, and then you'll move on. But each of the shapes are drawn, and they're also different like types of land. So you have water, farmland, housing, forests, and there's 5.
City? No.
I can't remember the 5th one for some reason. And then
because they're goblins.
No, the monsters are separate.
Separate?
I think so.
I think there's only 4 in the monsters.
Maybe there is. Water, farms, houses, goblins, and I guess there is probably only 4.
We might be forgetting.
We might be forgetting. Anyways, my point being is there's those cards that you'll be drawing on your own board, and then there's a twist with the monsters where you have to pass your piece of your sheet to the next player, whatever direction that it tells you, and then they get to draw on your board, which adds a nice annoying twist to it. But the way that scoring works is there's also different scoring that's going to happen in each season. You know, like the combination that's going to be happening, and you can kind of plan ahead for all of it, but you have to weigh and like check and balance which ones you're going to go for, because some are worth a lot of points if you really do it strategically, and others may only be worth doing only as like a secondary mission type thing. But it is a fantastic flip and write and a fantastic polyomino, because of course these shapes are polyominoes.
I think for me, this is definitely one of my favorite games in general, just because it has so many things that I like. Like the way that they do the goals of like 2 goals at a time, and then they kind of rotate. It feels just like really unique, and I know other games have done it, but I feel like this one almost feels like the original to me.
Right.
And then it has the opportunity too for you to be creative if you really want to be, because you can really go all out on these maps and actually draw little trees, draw the waves, and be really artistic about it. Or you can just color in the pencils. There's also many expansions. There's so many different maps. There's heroes that are introduced, and this game scales up, but in such an elegant way. I always love coming back to this game. It's definitely one of our favorite roll and race in general to pull out.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love this game. It's definitely, well, we got the collector's edition for a reason. And this is mostly just paper sheets of
it's a heavy box.
of different maps. So there you go.
And I think there's more maps still coming out. So let's
and it's part of the same universe as like Role Player, and then
I think so.
Then Ulos, is that what it's called?
Dawn of Ulos.
Dawn of Ulos, yeah.
It's similar. I don't know if they're the same universe.
Might not be.
They might be.
I know Role Player is for
sure. Role Player is?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you get a cartographer as one of the roles that you can do. Anyways,
crossovers.
that is Cartographers.
Okay, so my next choice
Second game, 4th
is
game total right now.
Second Chance.
Second Chance.
Now, Second Chance is designed by Uwe Rosenberg himself.
Of course.
I feel like there's a theme in Polyomino Month that we're
He
experiencing.
definitely has his name in the Polyomino world,
Yes.
that's for sure.
And it is published by Stronghold Games. Now, this game is very simple because the way it works is 2 cards are flipped and everyone will decide the shape to draw.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it's called a second chance is because if you cannot draw one of those 2 cards, you have a second chance to draw an additional one to see if you can make it.
Yes.
And essentially, you're racing to fill your board.
Fill up the board and make sure that you can draw everything that shows up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say, there's a box of this that's I think older that has really beautiful art on it.
Oh,
and I think I like it a little bit more. But this gives the whole gamified. It fits the whole vibe of
and
the
the
Stronghold
roll and
games.
write series type things that they've done in the Stronghold games. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I remember playing this a few times. I did quite enjoy it. It gets a little frustrating when you can't draw the shape, of course, but the shapes are giant and they're not just sometimes you get lucky with the small shapes, but they're big and you really have to, I think the first time I played it, I didn't quite catch on to that, and then it was detrimental. So,
Also scales up to 6 players. It's very easy to get to the table, really easy to teach, and people can leave with their little sheets.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute game, so
very quick.
Yeah,
that's Second Chance.
Well, speaking of Uwe, let's talk
another Uwe.
Yeah, let's talk about another one called Patchwork. This is a 2-player game, so we had 2 2-player games, and this is the second one. And
did we have 2 2-player games on purpose because it's 2?
I think that's all we had on our shelf. That lined up? I can't remember. Anyways, 2 2-player games, and this is the second one, Patchwork. There's a lot of different varieties of this one, like the Valentine's one, the Halloween one, the Christmas one.
All the regional ones as well.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the original, I suppose you could say. And basically you're trying to get as many buttons as possible by filling up your board. And essentially what's going to happen is you're going to go around this circle and choose a tile that you would like to take. Well, within a limit. I think it's the next 3. And then you place it onto your board, but you have to pay buttons. So the interesting thing about this one is the buttons are your points, and then it's also the way that you spend them to buy things.
Your currency.
Exactly. And then, of course, on the main board, what you're going to be doing is moving around, getting closer and closer to the center, where until that's where the game ends. But you trigger an income phase where you're able to gather a bunch of buttons, and it's very interesting to see the give and take, the pulls that happen, and then of course you're trying to do it faster and better than well, maybe not faster, but you're definitely trying to do it better than your opponent.
It is so satisfying to make things fit the right way. There's even a bonus for getting a 7x7, and you can fill the whole board. It has happened before.
Yeah, and you don't want empty spaces either, because it's
empty spaces are bad.
Yeah.
But I think this is a classic. I feel like when I think of Polyomino games, I think of Patchwork.
Me too. Yeah, Patchwork is definitely one of the recommendations I will give most people if they're looking for a 2-player or a Polyomino.
I would love to have all the Patchworks. All the regional variants. And then we play Patchwork
like the eyeballs
every single day.
I like the eyeballs.
You didn't like the eyeballs?
I did.
No, the eyeballs were fun.
That was fun, yeah.
You didn't like the chocolates?
I did like the chocolates too. This is Patchwork.
Patchwork. Okay, my next game is from Thames and Cosmos. It's from Rainer Knizia, and it is My City Roll and Build.
Woo! We've talked about the
talk about My City,
the legacy version,
and now we're talking about My City Roll and Build. Now, let me tell you, this is a phenomenal game.
It really is, yeah.
I cannot say enough great things about it. If you're familiar with My City, basically the way this game works is there's multiple episodes that you'll play through that build the story, and you get the big culmination of the score at the end. The rules scale up. My City Roll and Build is very similar.
Yep.
There's a big stack of papers. There are different episodes, and you play through them. I believe there's 12.
I think there's 12, yep.
That you go through, and the rules adjust slightly as you're playing the game.
Yep.
Now, the really, really neat element in this game is that the way that the polyominoes are created,
just
through the rolling of the dice.
The dice are very unique.
You roll 2 dice, and then you get polyominoes from that.
Yeah.
And I feel this is a mechanic that I suspect will just take over the world.
Really? I don't know.
I would not be surprised if all of a sudden people have more polyomino games are driven only by dice like this game does.
Right.
I think it's so clever, and it's so surprising to me that I haven't seen other games do it. And maybe they have in the past and they just have not come across our tables. But when we played this game for the first time, my mind just went...
It was very cool, yeah.
And beyond that too, it's so much fun. You're trying to put buildings together. There's a whole challenge, and the role element of it is an exciting factor because I feel like in the other game you knew that you're going to see these type of buildings. But here, in theory, you could roll the same building every single time.
You could, yeah. The chances are very slim, but
Tiny.
it's possible.
It is, so like that suspense factor of it is really fun. And just the way that you adapt to it is just an absolute joy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not you didn't even mention the fact that there's a third die that determines what type of building you're doing. Because in my city, the regular version, there's red, yellow, and blue, I believe. There's 3 colors of buildings.
Yes.
In this one, there's 3 different shades of buildings, but you might only have 1 or 2 of the solid colored buildings on your map in one round, and that's pretty cool to me because of the way that the game builds and grows. Is very interesting to watch happen.
And that is my city.
Roll and build. Last on our list to talk about today is Silver and Gold from Pandasaurus and Phil Walker Harding.
Big names in this video.
Yeah. Anyways, Silver and Gold is basically a contract completing thing is how I would say it. But you have maps in front of you that are going to score you different points and provide you different bonuses. But you'll fill them up with polyomino shapes that are flipped up as the round progresses. And you'll get points for finishing things faster, you'll get points for covering things, and then you're also like going for different trophies too. So that's always fun. But at the end of it, you'll count up your points, and the doublers are really amazing in this because they'll be like colors or
the bonus
points that you can get. And that's my favorite part about it is like watching those extra maps come up and be like, oh, I should take that one because it'll get me even more bonus points if I'm able to finish it. And it does feel really, really good.
I feel like it's a compact version of a lot of his other type of games because it has a classic mechanic of taking polyomino, placing it on something, and then getting things that you cover. It's so simple, but it has like a really small box to it.
It really is a small box, yeah.
The theme is fun too because you're just treasure hunting essentially. And yeah, this is a game that I think we continuously pull out as like a great introductory. Oh, we have 15 minutes, let's quickly play this.
Yes, exactly. There's nothing I would say that's wrong with this game.
I guess 20 minutes is what the box says.
Yeah.
And that is?
Silver and Gold.
Whew.
That brings us to the end of our crossover video.
Those were all really good games.
Bye! Just kidding, we're not done. We are not done yet.
You're not going to debrief how good those games were?
They are very good. There's a lot to pick from. And honestly, I was actually a little surprised that there weren't more crossovers on our shelf.
I think there's a few.
I think there was a couple, but there was it was like a stretch. It felt like it was a stretch.
Yeah, there's a few other ones that snuck in there. I think we chose the 5. There's much more roll-and writes or polyominoes, I find. But we chose these 5 because I think they're probably the higher tier of the polyomino genre. And if any of these do sneak up on our top 10, well, we would have talked about them earlier.
That's true, yeah.
And that makes it even harder to make a top 10 because now these games are eligible.
Even more games included in the things that I have to think about to rank my top 10 polyomino games. Holy moly, holy heck, wowzer kazouzers.
PolyomiNovember, baby.
Wow.
Now, we did promise a giveaway, and we do have a giveaway. And we, in fact, are giving away 2 games.
2 games, 1 for one person and 1 for another. 2 for the same person if you're very lucky.
Oh.
Yeah. But what games are we giving away?
Now, thank you to Thames and Cosmos for providing us copies of My City Roll and Build and My City, the OG My City.
OG My City.
So if you want to delve into the Thames and Cosmos universe of Polyomino games, this is the video to do so.
Exactly.
To enter our giveaway, all you have to do is look at your screen. There's going to be a question, a challenge, a riddle. What could it be? Look at your screen and you'll find out. And if you follow the instructions there, you may be able to enter to win a giveaway.
There's also stuff down in our description so you can check out the details to see the eligibilities, to see maybe how you can get bonus entries, and yeah, comment down below what your favorite game of this topic that we covered
Yeah.
was.
That is our question of the day today. What is your favorite 2-player or roll and write Polyomino game?
Exactly.
Is there one that you're devastated was not in this video?
Yeah. Is there one we missed and we need to know about because we don't have it?
We can make honest mistakes.
Exactly.
We're only human.
Only humans.
But we do play a lot of board games and we love sharing them with you. So thank you so much for sticking around and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye!